Good evening and welcome to the Nuvee Club podcast. My name is Big Mike Sanjay, broadcasting live and in living color here from somewhere on Long Island. Joining me, as always, buddy Sanjay Singh. Sanjay, how are you?
I'm doing well, Big Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's the Nuvee Club podcast, and people might ask, what is the Nuvee Club podcast? Well, here's the thing. Me and Sanjay are what you might call unlikely friends. It's an interesting friendship that dates back many, many years, decades indeed. Basically, at the bottom of all brass tacks, we're two guys. We really like movies. We enjoy watching movies. We enjoy talking movies. But this is not that. Well, at least it's not only that. It's the Nuvee Club podcast with Big Mike and Sanjay. So let's begin. That's how we start the show here. Sanjay, what kind of week has it been for you?
It's been a good week. Allergies are down, so I've been my health is feeling a lot better. Hasn't been too crazy work-wise. Just been having a couple of meetings here and there. But I did receive some disappointing news this week.
I was going to make a joke, and now I can't make a joke. All right, fine. I'll hold my joke for later.
Yeah, so we heard back from the Office of Cannabis Management about a grant opportunity, $100,000 grant opportunity that we've been waiting for. We've been essentially in the running for since August.
Well, I know nothing about this, and Tell me everything I need to know about this. A what? A cannabis grant?
Office of Cannabis Management, right? So,
okay.
As you know, I was a cannabis advocate.
You were? What happened? Something changed?
No, I am still a cannabis advocate, but
okay. I thought they fired you.
I helped legalization in 2021. I went to Albany to lobby. I've gone to meetings with senators and legislators. I've given comments on the MRTA, the bill. I really immersed myself in the world. I even participated in the cannabis training program. And if I ever wanted to start my own cannabis business, I can skip the line and procure a license. And as part of the MRTA, the cannabis bill that was passed, a percentage of revenue is supposed to get reinvested back from all the cannabis dispensaries. A percentage is supposed to get reinvested back into the communities that have been disproportionately affected by drug policy.
Like people like me, people like
So this is a large part of why I became an advocate in the first place. In 2015, I was on a date with a Colombian woman who decided to, roll us a joint, and we were arrested for possession in Lower Manhattan. We spent the night in the holding cell under the Williamsburg Bridge, fingerprinted mugshot, the whole shebang. So I was a youth disproportionately affected by drug policy. Fast forward 10 years, cannabis is legal, the state is collecting revenue, and the first reinvestment grant was created to provide nonprofit organizations with $100,000 to support programs that help youths disproportionately impacted by drug policy. You see where I'm going with this?
I understand where you're going with that. Yeah.
All right. So the Nuku Foundation helps youths with media training and career mentorship. And I spent months developing a program that would help those affected specifically by drug policy as a nonprofit. It's very difficult to get public funding because a lot of grants require that you already have a large operating budget, and you have to be able to match the amount of the grant as one of the things. One of the great things about this grant was that it didn't require the matching element.
Okay.
Or so I thought. We find out last week that the OGS, the organization that's facilitating the grant disbursement with the state, kind of flipped the rules last minute and only awarded organizations that could match the funding amount. So not only was this a major swindle for small organizations that put compelling applications together, but it continues to perpetuate this problem where organizations that already are successful and don't need the public support continue to get it. So
but does that mean that if you had $100,000, you would have gotten it, or you could have the $100,000 and not have gotten it?
I would have had a greater chance of getting it had we had the $100,000 already.
You can get $100,000. You can come up with that.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
the nonprofit itself requires that the money comes from public funds, not private funds. I would have to get, it's part of our campaign. If people want to help give the Nuku Foundation $100,000 and help us in the running for future grants like that, by all means, donate your $10, $20, $100 away. But,
Well, I think if we take everybody that listens to the show, follow me on this.
Yeah.
We take everybody that listens to the show, we split it. We only need that guy to write us one $100,000 check.
And he has it. I know he has it.
Well, I'll say shit. Too bad. It would have been nice, I guess. Although I still don't really know what any of it really all means. But that stinks. So what next? What happens next?
So we applied next year, I guess. We had this whole arrangement with this venue, with this retail spot downtown. She was waiting for us to give some positive news. We had this whole program created. They actually scored us we almost received a perfect score based on our program. But because we didn't have the money, it really didn't matter. And it sucks because this is something, media training, the entertainment industry needs career support, these youths need mentorship and they need guidance in this industry. So what we were providing really could have helped make this program stand out. And I know they're going to give this money away to organizations that it's basically not going to get any attention, and it's just a way for big organizations to continue to basically keep money for overhead expenses and not actually going towards members of the public. So it's an unfortunate thing, and I'm sad to see it happen. I actually haven't even consumed cannabis since last August. So
doesn't that hurt your cause here as an activist?
It doesn't hurt my cause. No, I can be an activist while not consume. I have a lot of experience in consumption, and I was actually hoping to break the break by celebrating with this grant receipt. But that'll have to wait for another time.
All right. Well, clearly, I'm not as cool as Sanjay. However, I did speak to Gene Simmons earlier today, Gene Simmons of KISS.
That's cool.
I got the opportunity to say hi to him. He was doing an interview via Zoom with one of our radio personalities, Rob Rush, on 94.3 The Shark. Got picked up in the trades very quickly, so I got a chance to tell him that I am lucky enough to do some things in front of crowds and do some entertainment here and there. And whenever I do those types of things, at least part of what I'm doing has been influenced in some way, shape, or form by Gene Simmons. So that was a really nice opportunity to get to speak to somebody that I'm not going to say he was a hero of mine, but he certainly was a big influence and continues to be as he's out there doing his rock and roll thing. Gene Simmons brings the Gene Simmons Band to the Paramount in downtown Huntington this Friday evening. This week, I'll go right into what I...
Well, how'd you get that interaction? Like, it was just because of the Paramount thing, or
the record label? The record label contacts the program director of the radio station when they're looking to promote shows. So it was part of the promoting of the show that's happening this Friday night at the Paramount, and we have a relationship with the Paramount, and we play the rock music, so, or at least on that station.
So it just so happened that Gene Simmons was available for a chat?
Yeah, they reached out to us, and we said, that happens probably 2 or 3 times a week with different artists. Depends.
Nice.
Everybody here knows that I'm a huge fan of the band, so when the opportunity came to speak to him, I got a chance to say hi, which is pretty cool. I've got a chance to say hi to him, and I spoke to William Shatner once a long time ago. He was doing his one-man show, and I got to speak to him on the phone, which was really cool as well. So,
oh man, Star Trek, another good idol.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because with some people, some heroes, some people that I really admire, I'm big fans of their work. I have questions in mind. Like if you have an opportunity to speak to whoever your biggest music artist that you enjoy or your biggest actor, like if you had a chance to ask them 1 or 2 questions, what would the questions be? So like I have those questions in my pocket for, like I know I definitely have them for Axl Rose. I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan, so I have them for Axl Rose. But I didn't have questions at the ready for Gene Simmons. But I did have something I wanted to tell him. So it's different from asking a question. And same thing with William Shatner. I didn't really have a question, but I knew there was something I wanted to tell him. And I'm happy that I've gotten the opportunity to tell them. So maybe I'll continue to get those opportunities because I'm still somewhat in same shape or form in the entertainment industry. And because I'm in the entertainment industry, I make a lot of videos. And before the show, I showed you the video for the new project that we're working with our country brand, American Made Grills. So what did you think of that video? It hasn't gone live yet. Sanjay got a sneak peek, but it should be out soon.
It's shiny. The grills look high quality, and
yes.
Nothing beats American steel.
Yes, it's true. But what's crazy about that, so the company was in California, and there's a company here Nicoloc paving stones. Yeah, they're a big outfit. They do a lot of everything you need for your backyard and beautify your backyard and retaining walls and patios and stuff.
I feel like I've
And
seen commercials from that, like on streaming.
oh yeah, Nicoloc is very big in the advertising space, and they work with us a lot. We do a lot. I even dressed up as the Nicoloc Gladiator a couple of years ago for one of their promotions. But this family that owns Nicoloc, like all the kids now kind of divested and they're getting into other things. And one of the kids got involved with American-made grills and bought brought the company from California here to Long Island. So it's the only grill that's made exclusively on Long Island in a big warehouse in Bohemia. So we got to tour it and speak to Nick, the owner, and it is fascinating to understand exactly, these aren't grills for everyday people. These are grills for people extremely passionate about grilling. These are grills for people that know what they want, and they want that additional quality. They want that additional quality of American-made steel and locally owned. So it's pretty cool. I'm waiting for that video to get approval and to go out. What'd you create?
Yeah, so we created another contest to help drive some viewership and traffic to Nuku. So if you would like a $500 Amex gift card and you want to help indie filmmakers in less than 10 minutes, watch one short film on Nuku, head over to Nuvee Club, sign up for free, post a quick 100-character review, and you're entered to win a $500 Amex gift card. Plus there's a $200 and a $50 runner-up prize for people that are not selected for the first one. And the contest closes on June 30th, so if you're out there, check it out now. No purchase necessary.
You're going to be able to fund these prize winnings without that cannabis grant? No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
I am. I just have to work a little. I just have to work a little harder.
Well, if you want to edit a video about American-made grills, I'll send you all the content. A Nuvee spotlight this week. His name is Mud. His name is Mud. I didn't get a chance to watch the link. Tell me about His Name is Mud.
His Name is Mud by Spotlight Media, a 9-minute animation comedy satire featuring talking animals. So this is a short
right up my alley
by a UK creator, Stoph Demetrio, and the synopsis is: in a brutal prison full of semi-aquatic anthropomorphic animate new animals, a new inmate struggles to acclimatize to his
Are you sure you didn't celebrate, even without that grant? Because it sounds like you celebrated.
This guy's got a lot of alliteration going on here. A new inmate struggles to acclimatize to his new surroundings and social boundaries. So basically a fish who is in a new prison, is a new guy in a prison, struggles to adapt to his new surroundings.
Are you sure this isn't another tie-in to your cannabis grant? Because that sounds like a high-person idea for a movie. It's like, wait a minute.
I think it is. I think if you're out there and you're using cannabis,
how could people not want to watch this?
It's got a lot of college humor in it for sure.
Okay, and how long is it? Is it short? Is it a feature?
9 minutes.
Okay, you can spend 9 minutes watching it. Cool. All right, so you can view His Name is Mud exclusively only on Nuku.com. NUKHU.com. Let's talk reviewing videos. We've been talking a lot about the videos because now I'm really active in this realm of creating content, some content for myself and content for other people here.
And it's part of the submission for these prizes that we're doing, these raffles and these contests.
So when you're talking about reviewing, you're talking about like reviewing creative works, not reviewing, like the videos that we talk about where somebody's, standing in front of a pizzeria eating a Big Hero, or like those don't really need reviews. I feel like we critique them. But
you're talking about reviews of video reviews.
Reviews of video reviews. Oh, okay, I understand that. Yeah, so I mean, in reality, no, there are people, and I don't know. I mean, the TikTok's always listening, the Google's always listening. Somebody sends you. It is freaky. But yeah, there was a point, I'd say last year sometime, I started getting fed movie review videos. I don't know who he is. I don't want to know anything about him. He's the nerdiest looking nerd that ever went for nerding. He just did teach the class on being a nerd. I'm sure he's a fine fellow. I'm sure he's a wonderful human being. And he did not have that many followers. And he was, every review, it seemed very, very well prepared. I didn't really feel a lot of emotion. I feel like when I talk about movies, I talk about the emotion behind the movies. I want to give you a sense of what I'm feeling as I was watching the movie, and I want to convey that feeling to you so you might want to be inspired. Not want to be inspired. You might be inspired to seek out the movie and watch it so you can feel what I felt. Or perhaps I felt something so out of whack that maybe then you avoid it. And this guy, you know, it got to the point where he got so many followers, and now he's talking about that he quit his job, and he, you know, thank you so much for 700,000 subscribers, and now I can quit my job. And I just get pissed. Maybe it's because I'm jealous. Maybe it's because I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Like, is there something good about what he's doing? I don't know. Is there something informative? Is there something entertaining? It's certainly not engaging. It certainly jump through the screen the way I think it should jump through the screen for someone to make enough money to quit their job to do it. So what am I missing? And why is that person getting so much great attention when I feel like maybe there's others out there that are doing better that don't get the attention?
Yeah, that's $1 million question right there, right? I mean, I want to say
Damn, if it was a $100,000 question, we could have fucking done this. It's a $100,000 question.
I want to say if there's if there's some kind of talent element to it, that would be better. But I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I honestly think that there's a lot of luck and a lot of likability involved. Yeah, like why do some people get to be politicians or notable politicians and others don't? And why are some given the chance of holding political positions and others don't? I think a lot of it, first of all, for that question, a lot of people don't understand the issues. And so because they don't understand the issues, they don't understand what's going on, they're going based off of like base superficial metrics. And those metrics are like really boiled down to what we're accustomed to consuming and what we're conditioned to believing is like interesting.
Wait, I thought you were going to wrap it up in the book. So you're thinking you're going to come back to movie reviews, but you went to politicians. Are you sure you didn't celebrate? I feel like you celebrated a little bit.
I think they're the same because
it's a likable quality, but it's also a lot of luck. I think it seems like it's more luck than the likable quality. But yeah, I think you need that watchable quality, you need that likable quality, or you need the opposite of that to get people to respond to it. Thankfully, I do somewhat make a living at doing the things that I do. Obviously, just want to do more of it. And when I see some of the other stuff that's in the space, it really kind of blows my mind. So I can't answer the question why some reviews get a lot of attention and other reviews don't. That's the $101,000 question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's tough to say, man. That's if you were able to find the right thing, the right ingredient that like a lot of people are interested in, that's your ticket to scalability. But I feel like that thing, that unique thing, is so elusive.
Well, I think it also comes down to this. If you're going, I would be wary of trying to select one thing that would be a niche. Now, I think it's a balance because you say, well, if you select a niche and it really hits and you could become very successful with this and it could finance your other endeavors, then it seems like it's totally worth it. But I also feel I'm wary about the idea of getting locked into a niche because I feel at this point in my life, I wouldn't want to latch onto a niche that isn't something I really want to do. And then I wouldn't want to pour the time and effort and passion into it if it wasn't something I really, really wanted to do. I think over my life, I've come to the realization that you really do want to do something that you enjoy doing. And not to say that well, if you have two options, you could do something you don't enjoy doing, you can be successful at it and finance your endeavors. Or you could do something you're very passionate about, but you may not make it. You may not be able to do it. I feel like I still would rather dedicate my time to doing the thing that I'm really passionate about because I am confident that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So I think, you dance back and forth.
It is a dance back and forth. And you know that I love that quote that you have from Disney, Walt Disney. You only fail if you give up.
Yeah, that's a concise version of it, but yes. I was talking about Gene Simmons before I got a chance to speak to him. The question here on the board is, are there still idols? What exactly do you think that question is driving at? Are there still idols? I don't think I have an idol. There's a television show.
But he was somebody that you looked up to, so you called him a hero.
Yes.
You called him a hero.
I wouldn't say Gene wasn't really a hero. I think I do have some heroes in my mind, but I don't know. I feel like our idols and heroes are interchangeable.
Yes.
Like, who's your hero?
Besides you, probably Probably my parents. They're probably the only ones that I would hold to that pedigree. I feel like this idea of being an idol is ripe for disappointment, and a lot of reason why I feel like we don't see them anymore. We don't have them anymore. People are so discouraged about what people do. The level of respect that we have for them is kind of like always at the mercy of what they do. And it's crazy because I wish there was a world where we all idolized each other and we all like had incredible admiration and adulation for each other. But I feel like the world is becoming more and more individualistic and opportunistic and transactionary, and people just kind of question everything and everybody's integrity and what everybody has to offer all the time.
I kind of think that I think you're on the right path to a tangible answer to that. I feel like all the things that we're noticing about a specific thing like that, where you could be somebody, a hero to somebody or somebody's idol, but there's always going to be this tinge of skepticism because now I feel like we know so much more we appear to know so much more about everybody, but in reality, I don't think we actually do know more about them. I think it comes back to social media. You blow up every aspect of this individual's life, and the more you see about them, the more you know about them, the more likely you are to learn things about them that you don't want to learn. So if you take something like back in the day, if you were in high school, or I'll say 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I had a teacher that I really, really respected, and I really enjoyed learning from this teacher. I thought he was a good guy. I thought he was a great guy. He really kind of helped me, and I was the type of kid that needed that type of figure in my life. But I saw that guy at school, 8:30 to 3:30 every day, and that was it. When we went home, I didn't know anything about his life. I didn't know where he lived. I didn't know if he had a family. I didn't know anything about that stuff. And where now, I assume teachers try to keep their social media, private from their students to protect themselves from that sort of thing. But yeah, as you grow up, you will learn more and more about everybody. Anybody that you want to learn more about, you can. And yeah, you are likely to find out things about them that you don't particularly like. So it might, knock away those bricks of idolism that you have for those people. So I think that comes with the way we live our lives now, so public, or the appearance of public. But I think those types of thoughts were always there. I think they're just amplified and made more complicated by the type of interactions that we have.
Maybe. I mean, I think there's something also to the growing up with people and accepting their changes and their weaknesses or their issues, and having a greater respect for them because you were a part of their growth and followed their growth. So, for the same argument, like that would mean that we should have more idols because we're all so attuned to what we're all sharing all the time on social media that all of our weaknesses or all of our issues or all of our pain points and failures and successes are kind of shared transparently. We should all idolize that level of transparency that we share. But I feel like what it's done is it's actually created just more competition and less collaboration.
Support or collaboration.
Support, yeah.
It's a good word.
Yeah.
I feel like with living your whole life out in the social media space, I feel like it's so many consequences that we are aware of, and then there's so many consequences that are like almost unintended, but we shouldn't have be surprised by them. The bottom line is most of what social media is, and since that's such a huge part of so many people's lives, we know it's almost like it's like rubbernecking. Yeah, there's good things happening in the world and there's bad things happening in the world. There's good things happening in your town. There's bad things happening in your town. There's good things happening in your life. There's bad things happening in your life. And we know, for whatever the reason, even though we can't really explain it, the human condition is to focus and talk about and shout about the negative things, bad things. And when you're inundated with that, then I think it's very hard to quote unquote, like look through it and find all the positive things. I think it's important I think it's necessary. I think it's an essential part of your life experience. If you're going to not be a miserable person from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, you have to put in the effort to choose to look for the good things, because the bad things are going to be shown to you. I mean, how many times does somebody come up to you with their phone and go, hey, you got to see this? And I'm not saying it's always going to be something horrific, but I'm saying a lot of times it's something horrific. And why is that our nature? It is our nature, though. We know that's our nature. But yeah, I would rather, when I'm on TikTok, if I get onto an algorithm rhythm, that's the thing. We should make that algorithm rhythm, a rhythm of the algorithm, where it's dogs and cats falling off a chair, or like that kind of stuff, or animals being surprised. I like that stuff.
Makes you happy.
I find that, yeah, it makes me happy. I would rather watch that than 16,000 videos of the airport in Yemen being bombed. All right, to me that's news. The news reports on it. Well, today there was okay, I got it. I don't need to see 75 angles of it and people running through the streets. I just don't need to see it. I'm not going to crawl in a hole and stick my head in the sand and not know that it happened. But I don't need to be inundated with it, where this is my whole day is getting fed those types of videos. I don't need it. But it's obviously working for whoever's putting those algorithms together. The algorithm rhythm.
The algorithm rhythm. No, I think you speak to an important perspective on how to survive, to look at that glimmer of hope always, and to find that through line that is a line of hope or a semblance of optimism. But I feel like that's a very personal thing on how we navigate and how we are able to just get through being inundated with all of this negative energy. And it still doesn't really address a phenomenon that happens when there's some perky person that pops up in your algorithm and they're like, hey, how you doing? This is my life and I'm so happy. And you're like, no.
Yeah. That's another, the competition element of it. It is, yes. I mean, we could talk about this for days because there's really no end to it. It's a big circle of all of the things that we used to experience within a day of interacting with people face to face, getting good news, getting bad news, being competitive, being jealous, feeling superior, feeling inferior. All of those things, that was in the life experience. But now it's nonstop. You can't even just sit down on your couch or you can't even sit on your couch and read a book without...
We try to have these... I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I feel like it's easy to get distracted, which is, in terms of movies, that's why I go to the movie theater, because I know for sure I'm not taking my phone out. I'm not going to take my phone out. But at home, it's very hard to not take your phone out. There's a lull in whatever you're watching. Boom, now you're watching Instagram Reels and you're seeing somebody post and you're feeling a thing, whether you're happy for them or you're angry at them or you're in disbelief of what you're seeing. And it's not a good way if you want to be at mental peace with things, because you're just constantly inundated with stimulation and you can't make any sense of it. And by the time you go to bed, your brain's exhausted. But in terms of hope is a good way to transition to our movies of the week. And this one came back on television yesterday. Green Book. Have you seen it? Green Book.
I haven't seen Green Book, but I'm familiar with the premise.
I saw that in the theater when it came out. It's a recent enough film where it was when I go to the movies not every chance I get, but I try to go at least once a week to see the movie. So I saw Green Book in the theaters. Thought it was fantastic when I saw it. Really incredible kind of story, and then blown away by how much of it was fact and truth. And even one of the main characters became an actor and was in The Sopranos. So one of the mains ultimately, he was a bodyguard in that movie in real life, and then he grew up, then he became an actor, and he was in The Sopranos. He played Carmine Lupatazzi.
I like that scene.
Very good movie. A very good movie in terms of messaging and changing people's minds, and also a really good indication, or at least a really good reminder of how different things were.
I remember that. I've seen that scene on social media where a guy's in the back of the car and he's eating chicken wing or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, what do I do with the bone? Throws it out.
We do this. He throws it out. Yeah. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it in a while, I recommend watching it again. What do you want to bring to the table, Sanjay? Is it
movie?
His Name is Mud? No.
Probably one of my favorite movies from last year, Monkey Man.
Never saw it.
Never saw it. Highly recommend this film. You know, Dev Patel is one of the few East Indian actors that has made it into Hollywood and has navigated very, very successfully by really focusing on what he's good at. You know, acting, directing, and this project Monkey Man is no exception. Highly recommend the film.
What's a brief premise so I know what I'm getting into?
So Dev Patel is a young man, ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where night after night, wearing a gorilla mask, he's beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. And after years of suppressed rage, he discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. And as his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. It's kind of giving like John Wick vibes.
Yeah, I could feel that. All right, Monkey Man, starring Dev Patel. Well, Sanjay, we've arrived at the end of our program. We talked about some really deep stuff. We tried to keep you up and keep you down. Maybe not as up as Sanjay might be. We don't know.
I'm always up.
So.
I'm always up. I'm on the way higher.
Excellent. Well, we'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. You can find us, as always, at Nuvee Club on Instagram and at Nuku on YouTube and Spotify. Get your subscription now. Watch His Name is Mud on Nuku.com. That's NUKHU.com. Tell the people goodbye, Sanjay.
Goodbye, everyone. And, you know, pay attention to what's going on at the state level for nonprofits. You know, nonprofits used to not have this matching requirement where they had to be able to afford the amount that the grant that they were given. And a lot of people took advantage of that in a negative way, and they implemented these laws, and laws have made it even more convoluted and impractical for really small organizations like the Nuku Foundation to really do good and have access to public funding. So this is something that at the state level, people are advocating to change. And if you're an advocate for anything out there, please take a look at it and try to advocate for smaller nonprofits.
Sounds good to me. Enjoy your week. We'll see you next time.